everyone, it's Haley and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. It is officially Monday, February 11th, so it is ContemporaryAthon, which runs this entire week, and it is hosted by some of my all-time favorite people on YouTube. So it is hosted by Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads, Natasha from My Reading is Odd, Julie from Pages and Pens, and their newest host is Melanie from Mel to the Any, who I have recently gotten to interact with more a little bit online, and she is just the most beautiful, beautiful human being ever. And fun fact, we are both part Filipino and we actually are both from Michigan, so we're basically twins. But I just wanted to introduce this vlog and kind of lay down my plans for the week. So if you did not see my February TBR, you'll know that I have a lot of books that I could read and that fit different challenges. So I'm honestly kind of hopefully just gonna pick up whatever I'm in the mood for this week and then, you know, use that to complete my challenges. So currently, let me talk about what I am in the middle of so far. I am also finishing up Little and Lion. I began this at the end of the week last week, and I am currently on page 268. So I have about, I think like 50 or so more pages of this. So honestly, I'm going to sit down tonight and finish this and then really get started on my ContemporaryAthon reads. Since I did not start this today, I will not be counting it towards any of the challenges. I am enjoying it. I'll give more of my in-depth thoughts once I complete it, but yeah. Today, also, I just started the audiobook for 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson. This one I am using for blurple, and it is also, it has a picture on the spine. It has like a little envelope there, so I am going to, I think, use it for that because I had a lot of trouble with that specific challenge, but I'm not sure where I'm at so far. Hold on. I think, okay, so I'm actually pretty far in this. I am on currently page 110. I have been listening to the audiobook for this, and it's going pretty quickly. This is only like 2 hours of audiobook, and I think in total it's about 7 hours, so I don't see an issue with finishing this tomorrow, if not later tonight. But this is okay so far. I'm not loving it, but I'm excited because I have it on my shelf and I want to read it. So I will continue to read this and listen to the audiobook and give you my in-depth thoughts. But other books that I can possibly read this week, I have quite the stack here. So this is kind of my stack that I got going here. I'm obviously not going to get to all of these. I also have If You Come Softly by Jacqueline Woodson. This one I just got. It was not on my February TBR, but I know Jacqueline Woodson is a Black author, and this has to do with a Black main character, so it fits for Blackathon as well as my personal challenge to continue to read more diversely. So this is an option. These are all options. I don't know why I keep saying that. I also want to read The Hate You Give. I read this last year and I did like a pretty shoddy job of annotating it, so I want to reread this, and it is also the Book Junkie Book Club pick of the month. The one book that I know for sure I'm going to be reading is Sadie by Courtney Summers. I am going to be buddy reading this starting tomorrow with Alana from The Awkward Book Nerd. She has been such an amazing friend so far on YouTube. Go check out her channel if you haven't already, because it is absolutely impossible to watch her videos and not smile, because she's just the sweetest, most wonderful person that I have ever seen. So I'm very excited to finally read this. This I'm going to be using for a hard-hitting contemporary, as well as one that I meant to read in 2018. I also just got from Book of the Month, I got On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. I am so happy to have this in my hands. I want to read this. This is one I really want to make a priority this week because I am so excited. I did really enjoy The Hate You Give, but I'm excited to see her sophomore work. So those are all the books that I need to finish or could read this week, but we'll just see how that goes. I don't know. I'm not too busy this week, but I do have some stuff going on, so we'll see. But I just got this package from Wordery. I'm not sure what it is. I ordered something on Amazon, but it had to come from the UK, so I'm wondering if this is what it is. But yeah, let's look. Wait, what? Okay, so I had ordered Radio Silence, but I really wanted the beautiful like UK cover. I'll put the picture here. So this is what it was supposed to be, and it says it on my receipt. But I don't think secular translations, nation state, modern self, and calculative reason is what I was supposed to get. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just move on from that. I really want to eat some dinner right now, and then I need to do a little bit of work on the computer. I need to do some stuff in my bullet journal, and I'd like to paint my nails. So I think while I do that, I could listen to my my audiobook. So I'm just gonna go eat some dinner and then maybe show you what I'm doing in my bullet journal in a sec here. So. So this morning it was super icy, but there wasn't a lot of snow, and now it's snowing. Yeah, I don't know. And the power went out at work, so it's just been weird. But hello everyone. So I am finally home from work. I haven't read too much today. I have read a little bit of my audiobook, I think, or of my ebook, A Girl Like Her by Talia Hibbert. And I think I'm about 50 pages in. I'm on page 54 right now, and it's only like 240 pages on my Nook, so I think I can honestly finish it today. And I'd also like to try and finish 13 Little Blue Envelopes today, so I have 2 books done for ContemporaryAthon. But I just needed to come on here and like talk for a second, because yesterday I went to bed and I think I had around 420 something subscribers, and I just reached over 700. That's 100% because of both Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads and Riley from Riley Marie. They are doing daily vlogs for ContemporaryAthon, and I was the shout out for both of their videos, and I can't quite put into words what that means for me, because there are 2 channels I watch like religiously. I still watch them religiously, and the fact that like they were willing to do that, I'm kind of speechless right now, because I feel so grateful. I feel so almost unworthy. Like, I don't know, it's just, it's I've been floating on air all day, and I thank you all so much. Obviously I have a lot of new subscribers now, and I just want to say welcome. I want to say thank you for being here. I am so appreciative, and I hope that I can give you like the best content possible, because that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to do. I want to entertain people and to talk about books with people and to make friends. So please, like, feel free to leave comments, follow me on Twitter, message me, you know, whatever. I am so grateful, and this is just like one of the craziest things that has happened to me in a long time. So thank you so much to Riley and Chelsea, and to everyone who has chosen to check me out because of them. So yeah, thank you. Hey everyone, so it's me again. It's actually Thursday evening, and I have to apologize for kind of the lack of updates, because if you can't tell, I have some cream above my lip. And if you've been watching my vlogs, you know that I've been sick. And something that I have struggled with since I was a little girl is the fact that almost every time I get sick with a cold, I end up with a really nasty cold sore. It's not anything else. It's really honestly just from being sick and from blowing my nose and all of that stuff. And it's something I've always been super self-conscious about. So yesterday I did film some clips and stuff, but I was really careful not to show my face. But I wanted to update, and I feel like, you know, this is reality. This is what happens to me when I get sick, and there's nothing I can do about it. I take care of it as best I can. I put cream on it. I take medicine. It's just something that I have truly and honestly, like, always dealt with. I'm gonna kind of try to keep the camera a little distance from me and just update you as best as I can. So on Tuesday, I did end up finishing A Girl Like Her by Talia Hibbert, and I really enjoyed it. It was such a fun read. It deals with a main female character who is Black and also on the autism spectrum, and there are also trigger warnings for intimate partner violence and kind of just verbal abuse and all of that. So that's something that you want to keep in mind when you go into it. But other than that, I felt like, you know, between the main two characters, between the guy and the girl that are like the lead of the book, consent is very much explicit on the page. They do a really good job of that. Also, they're always, you know, talking about safe sex, and that's like something that comes up in especially the main male character's mind, which I think is something that, at least, I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with romance books, but that's something that I guess I didn't really always think about when I did read them when I was younger. So that was good to read in this book. And honestly, I think, you know, there wasn't too much sexy time, so it was a good book, I think, for me to dip my toes in the water, and I enjoyed seeing that representation. Then yesterday morning, I don't have it with me, but I finished 13 Little Blue Envelopes. I didn't like it. I think I'll probably end up giving it 2 stars. I don't know. I just feel like the main, like, none of the characters I really liked. All of the male characters, all of, like, you know, the potential love interests or whatever, they all sucked. They were horrible. And then the main character, she wasn't my favorite. Something about her just didn't sit well with me. And then, so basically this book is about this girl who's very close with her aunt. She's a very sheltered girl. She's very inside of herself, and her aunt is kind of the person that really gets her out of her shell. Her aunt ends up passing away, so there are trigger warnings for death of a loved one and grief, and she leaves her niece with these 13 blue envelopes that basically leave her with money and instructions about this trip that she has to take in Europe. And of course, along the way, you know, she undergoes a lot of adventure and meets a lot of new people. And for me, I was really expecting it to be this trip that became all about self-discovery for our main character, but I feel like it was less about that and more about romance, and which isn't bad, it just, I guess, wasn't really what I was expecting. And to be honest, I didn't love it. I don't know. On top of that, there is, they do use the R word, which really took me by surprise, because that is not a word that I personally use. It's not something that anyone around me uses, and it just, I really dislike hearing that word, so keep that in mind. There is also a sequel to this book, and part of me wants to read it just to know what happens, but the other part of me just doesn't really want to waste my time. So since then, I haven't finished any other books. I am almost done with Sadie by Courtney Summers. I am buddy reading this with Alana, and so far I'm enjoying it. It is super hard to read. It deals with a lot of very difficult topics, including, you know, sexual assault, pedophilia, just a lot. So this, you know, look up trigger warnings for this if you want to read it. I also restarted, I've already read this book, but I started it again. I started The Hate U Give. I've only read 4 chapters, so I'm a little behind on the Book Junkie Book Club read along, but I'm hoping to finish Sadie tonight, to read The Hate U Give mostly tomorrow, and then start something else after that. So also, I got my Valentine's Bookish Cupid, so I'm gonna open this right now. Oh my gosh, they wrapped this up so beautifully. Hello, Haley Marie. I saw in Goodreads that you had one of my favorite books on your TBR, so I knew I had to send it to you. Happy Valentine's Day and enjoy the goodies. P.S. I'll let you know at the end of the month who I am. Your Valentine's Cupid. Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, let's do this first. A candle. I love candles so much. Oh, it smells so good. It's Cupid's Garden. That is perfect. How pretty is that? That is stunning. Oh, it smells so good. I think I've seen what this is. Oh, this is amazing. Okay, so they got me The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. Whoever you are, thank you so much. I'm so excited to read this. I have never read Practical Magic, but I think I heard Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads talk about this and really enjoyed it. So, like, yes, please. Oh, what? Wait, there's more. What? Whoa, cool ink pads. I feel so spoiled. What the heck? Wait. They got me a stamp set. This is gonna be perfect for my bullet journal. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Note cards with envelopes. Those are beautiful. I have the best Bookish Cupid. That is unreal. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Whoever you are, I love you. Oh my gosh. Hey everyone, so me again. I am actually, it's Saturday, and I've been babysitting all night. I have to stay the night here, and then I will probably be here most of the day. Yesterday, I did not read anything, which is the first day in February that I haven't read anything. This is getting better. I'm still putting cream on it though, but I'm gonna let him watch a movie and hopefully get a little reading done during that time. I need to start preparing because next Friday I have a really big interview, so that's really important. But yeah, so hey everyone, so it's a bit later with a reading update. I forgot to tell you that on Thursday I did end up finishing Sadie by Courtney Summers. I hesitate to say that I enjoyed it because it was super difficult to read and just touched on so many topics that are they're just hard. You know, the sad part about that book is there's a lot of reality to it and there's a lot of realness to it, and it's just devastating. In that way, it was very impactful. It left a lot of thoughts in my head. So I think I am going to give it 4 stars. The reason why I hesitate to give it 5 stars, and I was talking with Alana about this, is because of the open ending. I know a lot of people talk about it and either they love it or they hate it, and there is a lot of realness to the fact that you know, it is kind of open. But I think part of the reason why I do read a lot of times is because I want finality and I want, you know, I want the ending. I want things to be tied up and for there to be a conclusion. And so while it was understandable why there was an open ending, it wasn't my favorite. But I will also say that Sadie, as a main character, she has a stutter and I believe she's queer, which is something I think I've only ever heard Melanie from Mel to the Any talk about. So that was cool. Like I didn't know that until I heard her say it. So seeing that on paper was something not expected, but a pleasant surprise. So since then I have started If You Come Softly by Jacqueline Woodson. I'm using my phone as a bookmark right now. QX Catherine Reads bookmark 1K video. I'll link that up here. But I'm only 58 pages in. It's very quick. I don't know if this is, the main characters are teenagers, but it kind of almost reads like a middle grade. Just not like reads like a middle grade, it's kind of formatted like a middle grade because there's like so little text on the page. But it's really good so far. I like the writing. They're sophomores in high school. The girl is white and she's Jewish and the boy is black, but he comes from a very wealthy family because his dad works, I think he's a director in Hollywood and his mother is an author. And then the girl, I think her dad is a doctor. I'm not sure what her mom does, but they're more affluent families. But of course, as I'm sure a lot of you know about this book, there's going to be some hard-hitting topics having to do with racism. I think this is absolutely going to destroy me, so I'm a little nervous. But I'm just, you know, reading it whenever I can. Enjoying it. The one thing I will say about this book is that the storytelling is a little weird. Like, I like the writing itself, but there was a point at the beginning of the book where I got a little bit confused because it felt like it was jumping between past and present, but not in a way that I was really able to follow. And I don't know if it was because I was kind of tired or I wasn't really focusing properly, but it just felt a little, it felt jumpy. That's not the right word, but that's kind of how it felt. So I will continue to read this and keep you updated. Hey everyone, so I'm home. I have been home for about an hour now. I am currently on, oh, where's my book? So I am on page 67 currently, and so this is only my 4th book of ContemporaryAthon so far, and I was hoping to maybe get 7 done. At this point I don't think that's gonna happen, but I'd still like to read a lot more. So part of me thinks that I'm going to attempt a 24-hour readathon. That's also a challenge this week for the BookTube games, and currently it's 7:24, so I think maybe at 8 I might start. I will definitely have to sleep because I have never pulled an all-nighter in my life, but I don't know, I might try it and try to kick out as much reading as I can. I, of course, won't be able to read that entire time. I'll have to do other things. Like I said, I'm gonna sleep. I'd like to run because I haven't ran in a couple weeks because I have been sick, but I of course need to do interview prep and all of that stuff. So I think, you know, just to get as much reading done as I can in the next 24 hours would be awesome. Hi everyone. So if you saw just like a second ago, I finished If You Come Softly, and I am a shell of a human being now. I knew what was coming, and then when it came, it happened so fast. I just, it broke my heart. It was beautifully written though, and just its emphasis on race and just these small things that people of color experience day to day. Like, it's not even the big things, it's just like passing glances, like small comments that are made that can really affect someone in that position. It made me think a lot. But just overall, I mean, it was beautifully written, so sad. The one thing I didn't like about it was what I talked about earlier as far as like the storytelling. I didn't have an issue after that. It was really just at the beginning of the novel. And two, it's like a little insta-lovey, but with how short it is, it's like under 200 pages, but with how short it is and how much you really need the relationship to develop, I think it almost kind of makes sense. Hey everyone, so it is... what time is it? It is 11:48, so I have been reading for like 3 hours and 45 minutes. I obviously took a little break to watch the ContemporaryAthon live show and just kind of lounge around a little bit, I guess, but I currently have passed the 100-page mark in On the Come Up. So far I've read about 220 pages for my like little 24-hour readathon so far, which is really good. I'm really happy with it. I'm liking this a lot so far. I truthfully know like very little about rap music and all of that, so I'm definitely learning a lot, but it's good. It's interesting to see references to the hate you give in this book. I think it kind of shows a little bit of the aftermath of Garden Heights post hate you give era, so that's kind of interesting to see and see the consequences of everything that happened in that book. But right now I definitely am enjoying this. It makes me want to continue my reread of the hate you give even more, but this is something I really want to prioritize for this weekend, so definitely can finish this tomorrow. But yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to read this a little more or if I'm going to pick up something else, but I honestly might kind of like turn off the lights and go to sleep for a little bit. I usually go to bed at like 10, so this is already way past my bedtime. I am tired. I'm weak. I'm too weak for a 24-hour readathon, like straight through reading. So obviously I just woke up. It's a little bit after 8 in the morning. I went to bed probably around 2 in the morning, so I got like 6 hours of sleep, which for me is not a lot. But I did get up to page 220 in On the Come Up, so I listened to a lot of the audiobook last night, but right now I'm just going to read some more, and then maybe in like an hour or so I'm going to get some coffee because I need it. Hey everyone, so I look like a mess right now, but it is almost 1 Oh, it's just about 1 p.m. I took like an hour break to do some interview prep, but I just completed On the Come Up by Angie Thomas, and oh my gosh, I enjoyed this so much. So if you don't know what this is about a girl named Bree who also lives in Garden Heights, just like Star did in The Hate U Give, and she is the daughter of a pretty famous underground rapper who was actually killed when she was very young, and a lot of it is about her also wanting to be a rapper, but also kind of fighting this idea that she is, you know, being past her father's torch. It's very much about her trying to prove that she has a name for herself and she's not just her father's daughter. But on top of this, you know, the story arc of it being about her wanting to be a rapper, there's also so much that's a part of this book. It's about family and friendship, and I think going into this, I expected it to kind of just be about this girl and her career. But in true Angie Thomas fashion, there are so many layers to this, and there's so much depth, and it talks about, racism and about gang violence and gun violence and poverty. Poverty is a huge theme in this because her mom actually struggles with losing her job at the beginning of this and really trying to pay bills and provide for her kids. And I loved it. I loved all of the characters. I loved Bree. I loved her brother and her mom and their family dynamic, and I loved her friends, and it was so good. I highly recommend this. If you haven't read The Hate U Give or On the Come Up yet, definitely check both of them out. Angie Thomas is shaping up to be like one of my favorite YA contemporary authors. It's so well done. I so enjoyed it. Hey everyone, so I realized that I look like I really haven't moved like this entire weekend because I've basically been in my bed this entire time. But I did do some things. I cleaned, I ran, which was quite difficult considering the fact that it has been a couple weeks since I ran, which is really frustrating to me, but I'm glad I was back in it. And then obviously I showered and I picked up The Hate U Give again. I started off on page 66 of this, and now I am on page 182, so I'm making good progress through this. Obviously I'm annotating it throughout my reread and just really enjoying it. I will say that one part that I remember really got me the first time I read it, and is getting me again, is when her dad and her are in the car, when Star and her dad are in the car, and they're talking about the meaning of thug life and just kind of the systematic oppression that minorities and, of course, oppressed people face every day, and why that affects them with drugs and prison and getting jobs and getting out of that life. And it just, that part just hits me so hard. Even though I am half Filipino, I don't experience the things that these people do, and I can't even pretend to say that I do. And just the fact that her and her dad have to have that conversation at all is something that really hits home to me, because that's not a conversation I've ever had with my dad. And this book just hits me so hard. It makes me feel sick, but it makes me think, and it makes me just want to do better. And I'm reading so much Angie Thomas this weekend, and just this all over, just thinking about Blackathon and what it is doing to help me expand my ways of thinking. It's just, I think it's really what the point of this readathon is, and I am so proud of Jessie for coming up with this and seeing, how it's grown and the attention that this readathon has gotten. I think they deserve the absolute best, and I have so much respect for them for putting this on, and I'm so happy to participate in it because I feel like it's really it's really broadening my horizons. It's teaching me so much about the world and things that I really don't know enough about, and it's also waking me up to what I do need to know and understand and what I need to try and be better at, and I appreciate that so much. And while I have read The Hate You Give before, I have never really taken from it what I am now, and I'm very appreciative of that. Hi everyone, so it is a little after 9 p.m. on Sunday, so I am officially calling it quits on my week of reading, this weekly reading vlog, and my impromptu 24-hour reading, or readathon. So I am going to go over everything that I read this week, and especially over the past 24 hours, because I am tired, and to be honest, I am not going to read anything for the rest of the night. So yeah, let's get started. Before I started this week, I was in the middle of Little and Lion by Brandy Colbert. I finished this on Monday, I believed, and I actually really enjoyed this. This is the only book, by the way, I'm going to go more on my in-depth thoughts on, just because I have been, of course, talking about all of the books during this vlog, but also I think I'm going to do a separate ContemporaryAthon reading wrap-up, so I am going to really focus on the books that I read specifically for ContemporaryAthon in that video. But this is basically about our main character, Suzette, who just came home to Los Angeles from being on the east side at boarding school. She was in a relationship with a girl for the first time, and she comes home for summer vacation kind of in a different situation because her stepbrother has just been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and their relationship is kind of strained because of this. So Suzette is a Black main character. Her stepbrother is white, but of course, as I said, he deals with bipolar disorder, and our main character is kind of dealing with her sexuality throughout this book. She's dealing with having feelings for both a girl and a guy, and seeing kind of what that means in terms of how she identifies, because this is something that is very new to her and something that she's experiencing for the first time. So this is packed with diversity. There's a lot of discussions about mental health and sexual identity and all that, so I really enjoyed this. I think I'm going to end up giving it 4 out of 5 stars, but I definitely recommend this. Then after that, we get into my ContemporaryAthon reads. So I actually ended up finishing 6 books for ContemporaryAthon, which I am very, very happy with. The first one that I completed is 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson. I talked a lot about this. I didn't really like it. I will honestly probably unhaul this book, and I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Then I completed A Girl Like Her by Talia Hibbert. This was kind of my reintroduction into the romance genre, and I had such a good time with this book. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Sadie by Courtney Summers. This was a buddy read with Alana from the Awkward Book Nerd, but again, I think this is going to be another 4-star read. The next book that I completed, as you might have seen yesterday, was If You Come Softly by Jacqueline Woodson. This destroyed me. I have not recovered from this. I'm still thinking about it, and yeah, I really liked this. I don't think it was perfect. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to rate these last few reads, just because I did just read them, but I enjoyed the heck out of this. I thought it was beautifully written and beautifully done, and I would definitely recommend it. The next book that I started and completed in this past 24 hours is On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Oh, I enjoyed the heck out of this book. I super enjoyed it. I am not disappointed. I knew Angie Thomas would deliver, and she absolutely did. So definitely recommend this. Pick this up if you have not already. And then finally, another book that I started early in this week but ended up finishing today was, of course, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. So this was a very Angie Thomas filled weekend, and I am not upset about it. This is the time that I finally annotated this properly, and I'm very happy that I did. This book really hit me harder than it did the first time around, so I'm really glad that I reread it. And of course, if you have not read this, this is something you absolutely need to read, like no question about it. So those were the books that I completed this week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please feel free to like and comment. I hope you'll choose to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!